Hello, I'm Anthony Bardaway with UATV. I'm here at the Security and Defense Conference in Kyiv, where we're talking about various aspects of the Ukrainian defense industry, integration with Europe and NATO, those sorts of topics. So right now I'm with Captain Andriy Ryzhenko. He's the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Ukrainian Navy. Andriy, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yes. So I'll have to go to, I guess, the beginning of the current stage of things. Crimea was the major base for the Ukrainian Navy. It grew out of the Soviet Navy, and the boats just stayed a lot of the time. They're based in the same ports as the Russian Navy in a lot of cases. So when the Crimean annexation happened, a significant portion of the Ukrainian Navy was either just taken outright, or a lot of officers defected, including a very high-ranking admiral. So how has the Ukrainian Navy, has it recovered from this event yet?
Yeah, it's really true. After annexation in 2014, most of the surface ships and auxiliaries was kept by Russian Federation, and they still keep in the 17-hour warships and vessels. Unfortunately for us, it is the most combat-ready vessels. And also 75% of personnel decided to stay in Crimea for a number of the reasons. We moved out of Crimea, and we were stationed in Odessa, and we start to restore our capability. From beginning, it was even some kind of question: should Navy exist or not, or should be some kind of addendum to the land forces or the Coast Guard. But during this period, a lot of strategic document for national security of Ukraine was revised. It was some kind of struggle, but we finally won, and it was decided to keep Navy. Why? Ukraine maritime state. It has a coastline, the greatest coastline in Black Sea area, the same as Turkey. And within the exclusive economic zone of Ukraine, we have a gas and oil excavation, and their estimated value around $1 billion. For $1 trillion. For Ukraine, it's 6 national GDP. Also, 6 Ukrainian oblast districts has access to the Sea of Azov or Black Sea, and it's 25% of national GDP. And this economical value is supposed to be protected. And government say, yes, we need Navy. And Navy was tasked to do for its mission. Our mission to protect national sovereignty with the coastline and sovereign rights of Ukraine within the exclusive economic zone. It was decided to keep three branches of the Navy. First one, surface fleet. Second one, coastal defense. And third one, maritime aviation. Surface fleet still, now it's the smallest branch, around 6% of personnel as sailors, because we have just very few ships actually now. Second, coastal defense. Coastal defense troops was significantly increased last 2 years actually. From few hundred, we have now already almost division-size coastal defense. It's number of marine battalions. We have artillery, coastal artillery. We have MLRSs. We have a tank battalion. And we prepared them currently. They implemented tasks in Atoll in east of Ukraine, close to Mariupol.
So the Ukrainian Navy right now is more of a Marine Corps than
Navy. Mostly it's Marines, yeah. Mm-hmm. And also we have maritime aviation. Primary task for aviation it's anti-submarine warfare and search and rescue. And this is why primary concern now of command of the Navy to develop, to restore surface fleet. We were in a number of discussions and argues with authorities. Actually, we identify possible resources. These resources around the 7 billion hryvnias for another 4 years. We can build for this money. We can build 1 corvette, or we can build small platforms which can carry the same weapon, but not far away, not such far away like a corvette, within the coastline, within littoral waters, it's called. And we identify this concept, mosquito fleet concept. Actually, in general, we think that we're thinking about 3 types of platform. First one, it's called a search strike platform. It's a small ship, it's a boat size, fast patrol boat with the missiles, with torpedoes, and with artillery greater than 40 millimeter. And they're tasked to fight enemy ships, surface ships, and submarines. within littoral waters. I would say of maximum 100 nautical miles off of the coast. We don't need to go further on. Why? Because, for example, for the price of one corvette, we can buy from 5 to 10 these boats. And each of them carries the same amount of cruise missiles, by the way, 8. Or the same amount of torpedo. For the same money, we have much greater combat potential. Another type of platform, we call it amphibious raid. It's this ship designed to deliver special operation forces, Marines, boarding teams, or anti-sabotage diving team to the certain area of the coastline of Ukraine, or to our gas and oil platforms within our economic exclusive zone.
So it's a very specialized Navy.
Yeah, it's a very specialized, but it's a deterrence package, actually. Amphibious capability. And third one, mine countermeasures. Because mine countermeasures, it's very actual during hybrid war. Within 4 ports of Ukraine, Odessa, Chernomorsk, usually in the Black Sea, and the port of Mariupol in the Sea of Azov, providing 80% of Ukrainian merchant trafficking. If they blocked, economy blocked. It's easily, and we need this capability. And we calculated that we may build this core bone of the Navy within this Mosquito fleet. With this amount of money, it will be around 30-35 platforms. For some, we're speaking with Ukrainian industry. We're searching for foreign industry. We believe that a solution will be done in close cooperation of Ukrainian and foreign industry, because some of capabilities just lacking in Ukraine.
So are there any confrontations between the Ukrainian and Russian navies? Not necessarily shooting, but just the standard things of one boat goes up really fast to another boat before pulling
No, we
away.
have even shooting, actually. 2 months ago, yes. Our aircraft was flying over a gas platform located within the Ukrainian economic exclusive zone, internationally recognized, now is seized by Russia.
So the waters that are surrounding Crimea, that are still a part of Ukraine, but are then contested by Russia?
Oh, it's not.
Or is it outside
yeah,
of
it's
that?
quite far away, actually.
Okay.
It's closer to Ukraine rather than Crimea.
Okay.
But it's much closer to Odessa rather than Crimea Peninsula.
Okay.
But these platforms belonged before to the Chernomorneftegas, and they seized these platforms, and they pumping gas out of this. And we are flying over, and one of our aircraft, they shoot to one aircraft. They didn't destroy it, but it was a hole actually of bullet, and we identified. Also,
so Russia's gradually creeping further into Ukrainian waters then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, what is now our Coast Guard doing? Actually, they approach into the area where Russians now are locating in these gas platforms, or to the ships under Russian flag within our Ukrainian economic exclusive zone, excavating sand, for example, and say them, okay, you're doing it illegally because Ukrainian government doesn't allow you to do it. They say, okay, we are working on permission of Russian government. We say it's not right because internationally it's recognized as Ukrainian water. At least we're saying them that you're violating international rights. Yeah, and we're also doing it with the Coast Guard. Yeah, this is, but open confrontation, no, we didn't have actually, between ships at least.
Okay, so you also have a high-level position regarding Euro-Atlantic cooperation and integration. So what steps has the Ukrainian Navy taken to be more like a NATO Navy, essentially?
Yeah, in fact, we've been cooperating with Navy already for quite a while, actually, since 1994. We started to cooperate with Navy actually even earlier than some of the existing NATO nations now. Like, last strategic defense bulletin, which was introduced in 2015, actually set up in front of us quite clear task. By 2020, we should be completely ready, on NATO standards. It's starting from a command control system, capability package, training, education, logistic, all of these items. With NATO identified for us, for Navy, 3 partnership goals. One of them, it's a command control system. Secondly, training. Third one, it's maritime domain awareness, and we're working on these partnership goals. We already prepared structure of the Navy on a 3-level: strategic, operational, tactical. It's fully, we're working with NATO, with NATO nation specialists, and it's fully in accordance with these requirements. However, we need, I mean, this change is supposed to be in concert with General Staff and Other Services vision. This is why we are now in discussion, actually. But maybe actually, secondly, we are restoring now our education system and training system because all of the training center, our academy stay in Sevastopol. And we try to bring this standards and this is practices of NATO as much as possible to our own system, and NATO helps us as well. I mean, sending mobile training team specialists, providing methodological helps, etc. And regarding maritime domain awareness, actually, we need to identify enemies from far away, and also with NATO nations, we are building this system. We are integrating this system with our Coast Guard, with Ministry of Infrastructure to make one national unified maritime domain awareness system.
So, stop me if I'm getting ahead of myself here, but it seems as though the Navy, it might be easier to make reforms in it than the Army. One, because it's just became much smaller, so it's kind of a brush fire kind of concept where everything just has to get swept away to build something new. But also that some of the old Soviet mindset that people always talk about here kind of left with Crimea. Do you think that has any kind of basis in reality, this analysis?
Yeah, that is why not? Why not to test on the smallest branch how it's working actually, and after bring this practices for overall mechanism. But it's really decisive point for the Navy because we need changes. We need certain quick wins actually, and this is implementation of these NATO practices can be one of the basement for this. And why not? As this year declared by Year of the Navy with the Armed Forces of Ukraine, why not? Just try to. And I would say there's not so much changes actually. There's no completely erasing of everything. We need just tailor existing mechanism to the NATO. When people asking me why we should work with NATO, I say, okay, because NATO has the best in the world military management practices. Yeah, I mean, for Ukraine it's important. I mean, on operational level, it's very important because having less people, you're doing job actually much more.
Structure itself.
Yeah, structure, also building organizations, management of the work, logistics, supply, whatever. Because, I mean, like in strategic level leaders, they must have a vision how to develop armed forces or Navy or whatever, any service. And they mostly now overwhelmed with administrative stuff. Administrative stuff supposed to be given down to chain of command, to tactical level. Let them think actually, and you must have a broader picture. But it's and obviously besides this, this is I mean, collective defense security advantage actually already shown, really shown into life actually. When small nation like Baltic nations, I mean, they have full support of huge NATO nations, actually.
So last question. Recently, several warships from NATO countries have made port in Odessa for various exercises. So what is the extent of these exercises? What are they doing? Is this more of a goodwill gesture, or is there a strategic level to it?
Yeah, I would say we look for the all types of benefits, starting from a political strategic benefits, I mean, because it's a mutual support of Ukraine as a nation, and also operational and tactical, speaking about our transformation to NATO standards. It's really, in the beginning of April, it was a ship visit of NATO mine countermeasure standing group in Odessa, and it was 4 NATO vessels, and they stay a few days. We did some import training, and after this standing NATO maritime group, together with our minesweeper, did some MCM training, and they found, by the way, 2 mines from World War II and exploited them. And this is quite traditional. It is already some kind of tradition. We expect some kind of also standing NATO maritime group also this summer. We also have ship visits from other. So
like the air group that's in the Baltics right now, like that kind of situation?
Yeah, it's SNMG, yeah. And also we have a visit from recently we have visit from ships from Turkey, from France. This summer will be a big event in Odessa. It will be exercise Sea Breeze. It's traditional US-Ukrainian maritime LIVEX with involvement of, this year will be 16 nations, 16. We expect around 40 different warships and boats, 20 aircraft, and around more than 1,000 Marines. It will be force integration training when the troops will make a NATO-based field and at sea practices, exercise and practices, and later it will be operation, crisis response operation. We will set up a maritime operations center built on NATO, actually US, guidelines, and also composed of officers from different nations. Ukraine will use this opportunity as a vehicle to train our young officers how to act, and other nations will share their experiences and build some kind of cooperation. Yeah, and this activity actually grows up. Yeah, and next year we initiated a number of the bilateral exercises in Black Sea area close to Odessa with US, with Romania, with Turkey, and also we'll keep this sea breeze as well. By the way, this will be anniversary, 20 years as the sea breeze started, actually.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you for coming with us today. And today we had Andriy Ryzhenko, captain in the Ukrainian Navy, who talked to us about the state of the Ukrainian Navy and how it's cooperating with its NATO allies. Thank you very much.